Okay. Everybody hear me good? Good. Okay. So this is Sunday Gentle Flow, and in this class we're not necessarily going to work very hard. This is more of a gentle flow. It's more introspective. I'm still working on music, which obviously I don't have yet. I sent you guys a link last week to my Spotify playlist, but if you want music, especially with this type of class, you can have any kind of background ambient music, and then hopefully I can work it out by next week where there's something, but then there's also silence, which is nice. Okay, so let's just start in a nice, comfortable, seated position. Get nice and long in the spine. And then close your eyes or look gently at the floor. Draw in breath through your nose, deep down into your belly. And exhale with a sigh. We're going to be here for a couple of minutes. So I really encourage you to make sure you're comfortable. If you want to lay down, you can lay down. Just find something a position that allows you to kind of forget about your body. So if sitting up tall is going to make you uncomfortable and you're just going to be constantly aware of your achy back or your achy hips, then lay down. Find a supported position against your couch, whatever. Then I want to invite you to try this visualization. Envision yourself sitting in the middle of your life. There's all these things swirling around you, these responsibilities, these concerns, everything. And you're just sitting right in the middle of it all. It's all just swirling around you. And suddenly this giant vacuum cleaner hose just comes down and just kind of sucks you up out of it. It's still there. All that stuff around you is still there, but you're not there anymore. Instead, you're in this quiet, peaceful vacuum. And that's where you can always go. There's always that place. I always envision it as kind of my third eye, that spot in between my eyes, or sometimes my heart center. That space where nothing else can touch you. It's just you, the observer. And all that noise is just that. It's just noise. Because in this moment, you are completely here. In this moment, all is well, all is peaceful. And it's just those pesky thoughts that disrupt it. So just sit in that quiet space, nothing around you, and just breathe. Two more breaths here. And then just very gently let your head drop over towards your right shoulder. Very gentle, gentle movement. And slowly come to center. Other side. And center. Start to slowly and gently roll your shoulders up and back. And other direction. One more. Good. Then we're going to extend our right leg long and then kind of rotate your upper body to turn towards that right leg and gently fold towards the right leg. You can always bring a cushion or something to place on top of the leg if you want it to be a little bit more of a passive stretch. It's early in the morning. We haven't moved a lot, more than likely. So we want to be extra gentle with ourselves. Two more breaths here. And other side. Gently hinge forward and breathe. One more breath. And slowly rise up. Bring the soles of the feet together. Sit up nice and tall. So we're going to use the same comparison that we did last week in our Sunday class, where really tune in for a second and pay attention to how your hips feel in this posture, because we're going to come back to it at the end. So just right now, you're not trying to get deep into the stretch. You're just observing. Observe how your hips feel, your back, how tall you can or cannot get. One more big breath here. And slowly release. Let's come into tabletop. So we're going to start with cat and cow in tabletop. Hands are centered directly under the shoulders, knees directly under the hips or even slightly behind. Will give you a little bit bigger range of motion. As you inhale, shift the chest forward, drop the belly towards the earth, lift the chin. Exhale, round your back, tuck your chin. Again, inhale, chin and chest lifts, belly drops. So from here, I really want you to just tune into yourself instead of trying to make it this perfect posture. Again, this is a soulful, gentle flow. The point is not to work hard or accomplish anything. It's to tune into your body, really connect with your body. We tend to kind of turn into floating heads sometimes, right? We become so detached from our physical selves. So here's your time. Feel every sensation. Time everything with your breath in any way that feels right. Couple more breaths. Make this your own. Move in any way that feels good. And then let's come to a static tabletop. Start to shift your weight into your left knee and really pay attention to what you're doing here. We're gonna, in just a minute, we're gonna let the right leg float up, but let's make it a really mindful movement. Pay attention if automatically that left hip wants to jut out, and keep it pulled in. Notice that right away you have to activate the belly button, you have to activate the core to keep that stability. And then once you feel really good and grounded in that left side and weight distributed evenly between each hand, start to let that right leg float back. Good. Okay, so now let's tune back in with this right leg extended. Your left hip is almost definitely jutted out. You've probably shifted some weight off your right hand. See if you can shift back. If you can get that weight evenly distributed in both hands. If you can pull the left hip in. And you almost definitely cannot accomplish this without really activating those muscles around the belly button. Activate the right foot. Press the toes towards the floor, the heel towards the wall behind you. And then maybe you let that left arm float up. Lengthen, reach as far as you can with the left fingers and through the right heel. And then exhale everything down, toes together, knees apart, sink back into child's pose. So really get deep into this child's pose in any way that feels right. Maybe roll the head back and forth, walk the fingers out long, or maybe drape the arms to the side. One more breath here. And then slowly roll up. Come back to tabletop. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Start to shift your weight into your right knee. So left leg still on the ground. We're just very mindfully doing every step. So shift your weight into the right leg. Evenly distribute your weight between your right and left hand. Spread your fingers wide to create a nice solid foundation. Pull the belly button in, and then when you feel nice and grounded, start to float that left leg back. Now reassess your posture. Shift half the weight back into the left hand. Pull the right hip in. Keep the belly button active. Activate the left foot. Press the toes down towards the floor, the heel back behind you. And then maybe the right arm floats out. Lengthen in both directions. Keep pulling the belly button in. And exhale down. This time we're going to come into puppy pose. So our hips go straight back. We walk the arms out nice and long. One more breath here. And then on your next inhale, shift all the way forward and come into Sphinx. So we're going to get really active in our Sphinx. Start by bringing your elbows directly under your shoulders. Spread your hands nice and wide. And then really activate through the arms and the chest. So what you're going to do is press all 10 fingers down, and then envision that you're trying to lift, you're trying to drag your body up the mat by using the hands, except your body doesn't actually go anywhere. So what happens instead is it lifts the chest and rolls the shoulders back and down. From here, press the tops of the feet into the mat. Press your pelvis into the mat and lift up through the belly button, like you're trying to touch the belly button to the spine. Chin is parallel to the floor. Shoulders are activated, roll back and down. Take a couple breaths here. Okay, before we come out of this pose, let's scan one more time. Our hands are active. They're pulling us forward, pulling our chest forward. Our shoulders are rolled back and down. Our belly button's pulled in tight. Pelvis pressed into the floor. Tops of the feet pressed into the floor, which activates the legs. This is a very active pose. One more breath. And then press up into tabletop. Curl the toes under. We're not going to go all the way into down dog. Instead, we're going to lift our knees off the floor, bring our hips up halfway like we're about to go into down dog. And hold. Exhale, knees come down. Okay, again, we're going to lift our knees. Hips come up halfway. Hold. And exhale down. One more time. Inhale the knees up. Hold. And this time we're going to exhale back into down dog. So pay attention to where you're at right now. You may need to keep a nice, generous bend in the knees. Let the head hang long. Find that balance between work and ease in your down dog. Press out through all 10 fingers. Press the belly towards the thighs as you pull in the rib cage. And then take a very slow walk towards your hands until we meet at the front of our mats in standing forward fold. So in standing forward fold, make sure you're nice and grounded through your feet. Soft bend in the knees. Let the head hang long to lengthen the neck. Maybe sway side to side. This should not hurt. This should not be a strain. If you need to deepen your bend in the knees, do so. Roll out the head, sway side to side, maybe shimmy the knees, whatever feels good. Remember, our sole purpose here is to root ourselves more firmly in our bodies, to quiet our minds. One more breath. And then inhale, come up halfway. Lengthen out through the crown of the head. And exhale, fold down. We're going to do that 3 more times. Inhale halfway. And exhale down. Inhale. And down. One last time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold down. And then inhale, reverse swan dive up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, we're going to work on our tree pose. So start by getting both feet nice and firm in the mat. You can do any of the techniques I've outlined before. You can rock your feet back and forth and envision they're almost like suction cups that get you a little more stuck to the mat with every rock, or maybe you find those 4 points on the outsides of the big toes and the pinky toes, the outsides of the heels, whatever you have to do to feel nice and firmly rooted. And then it may even help to close your eyes and see how rooted and how stationary you can stay in that right foot as you start to lift up on the left heel. Keep the belly button zipped up tight through the center of the body. And then from here, you may want to rotate that left knee out. And maybe from here, you start to slide that left heel towards the right ankle. Notice that right knee. Make sure the right knee is not locked out. You want to just a soft bend, a buoyancy in those supporting joints. And then maybe you start to slide that foot up the inside of the right leg. Keep trying to open that left knee up a little more. Maybe you spread your branches. If your eyes are open, you can play around with closing them for just a second. See how that affects your pose. Makes you very aware of how important our eyes are for balance. And then see how slowly, like you're in a slow motion video, that you can step out of this. And then try and avoid shifting anything. So bring that left leg down and just be. You'll notice some tension in this right leg. Your body just so wants to move after you do this, but just observe how you slowly start to shift back to the other side. Find that center of gravity. The tension slowly starts to release out of the right leg. And then go ahead and circle your hips, shimmy, do all the things you wanted to do as we set up for the other side. So again, get nice and firmly rooted through both feet. Pull up through the center of the body. Stay nice and firm through your core. And then see how grounded you can stay as you lift that right heel. Keep a softness in the left knee. And then maybe you rotate the right knee out. Maybe start to slide that right foot in. And maybe slide it up the leg. Maybe spread your branches. Pull in on that left hip. Keep the left knee soft. Zip up through the middle of the body. Maybe close your eyes. Keep breathing. Deep breaths. Keep opening up that right knee. Pulling the left hip in. And then see how slowly, slow and controlled you can step out of your tree. And then try and not move the bottom half of your body for a few seconds. Instead, close your eyes, observe. Notice how amazing your body is. It's like that little bubble in a level tool. It just finds its way back to center without us even trying. It's amazing. And then shimmy, sway your hips. Do whatever feels good. Good. Okay, we're going to take a couple deep breaths here. Big inhale up, reach up and back at the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, big inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more time, inhale up. And this time we exhale, swan dive forward. Soft knees, rooted feet. Inhale halfway. And exhale, fold down, step back into down dog. Belly presses towards the thighs. Neck is long and relaxed. Ribs pulled in. Couple more breaths here. Anytime you need to come down into child's pose, you always have that option. Again, this is your practice. I'm here to make suggestions. On your next inhale, step your right foot forward in between your hands. You can always give it some help up by grabbing it with your right hand. Okay, we're going to drop the left knee down and then make sure the knee is centered over the heel. You don't want your foot back behind your knee. You want to have a nice big gap under this leg. You don't want it to be all pinched up. That's what hyperextends our knee. Okay, so from here, you've got a couple different options depending on what kind of practice you want today. You can simply bring your left hand to the front outside of the, your left hand to the front outside of the left side of the mat, and bring your right hand to your thigh and stay right here. And this is just a nice, gentle, supported twist. So you can stay right here, or if you want to create just a little bit more heat, get a little deeper into the twist, then you can always bring your left elbow to your right knee and then press your right hand into your left hand. And this is just going to deepen your twist. Takes a little bit more effort, so it's going to create more heat. But remember, that's not our goal today. We're not trying to get all sweaty and work really hard. We're getting introspective. We're getting more soulful. Wherever you're at, lengthen your spine. Always make sure you're creating lots of room for your breath. So the more you can lift up on the rib cage, the more room you have for those nice, big, deep breaths that nourish your brain and your body. One more breath here. And exhale, unwind. And then we're going to very gently send our hips back. This is a really good time if you have any kind of blocks or books or upside down boiling pots, anything that maybe little stools, anything that allows you to kind of support yourself so that you can hover with a nice flat back over this right leg. It's going to really get deeper into this hip stretch. When you're here, I mean, the most you're stretching is kind of this back part of your back, which if we're sitting a lot, we're stretching all day long. So hover over that leg, roll the shoulders back and down, breathe deep. Couple more breaths here. One more deep breath. And then if you have props, you can set them off to the side. Hinge forward and very gently start to shift back. Again, when we've got these big muscles, if they get tight and we hold a pose for any length of time, sometimes our body needs a couple extra seconds to get out of it. Couple breaths in down dog. Next, inhale, the left foot steps forward. And drop the right knee down. So again, you've got a couple options. You can bring your right hand to the outside corner, the right side of the mat. Bring your left hand to your thigh and just very gently twist. Or you can take your right elbow, prop it on your left knee, and then press the left hand into the right hand to deepen your twist. Wherever you're at, lengthen your spine. Couple more breaths here. Make any adjustments you need to. See if you can sink a little deeper into the pose in any kind of way. Maybe create a little bit more space for breath. One more big breath. And then start to shift forward. Maybe grab your blocks. Nice flat back. Good. Shoulders are back and down. Chest is lifted. A couple more breaths here. One more big breath in and out. And then blocks come off to the side. Slowly shift forward. Right toes curl under. Step back into down dog. Again, let the head hang long. Take advantage of the weight of your head and use it to really lengthen your neck. One more big breath here. And then we're going to shift slightly forward, almost like we're going to come into a plank. We're going to take this left foot and cross it under the body to the outside of the right side of the mat. And then you can either stay here or maybe that right arm floats up. And exhale the hand down, step back into down dog. Big breath here. And then you shift slightly forward, cross the right leg under the body. Either stay here or maybe that left arm floats up. And exhale the hand down, step back into down dog. One more big breath here. And then shift forward into tabletop. Toes together, knees apart, sink back into child's pose. You can make this child's pose more active by walking the hands forward and lifting the elbows off the mat. One more breath. And then slowly rise up. So we're going to come up on our knees. And if this isn't comfortable, try sliding something like a rolled up towel, a thin pillow, anything like that under your knees. And we're going to have our knees about hip distance apart. We're going to bring our hands to our lower back And then we're going to turn our palms facing downward. Pull the elbows together, roll the shoulders back and down. And then we're just going to inhale and lift through the chest and just create this tiny little back bend. And then slowly come out of it. Sink back on your heels. And again, puppy pose. So it's almost like a half attempt at a child's pose. You're not going all the way back. And slowly rise up. Okay, so you can always come back to what we just did. This is a really good place to be, to really start to open up the front of your body and create a little bit of a back bend. Or if it feels okay, we're going to come into what's called half camel. So in half camel, we're going to step the left foot forward and we're going to reach back either for this right heel, or you can grab any kind of sturdy object that's higher up than your heel and put it on the outside of the right foot. Just reach back for it, extend the left arm up. And our whole purpose here, make sure you're not turning towards whatever your hand's on. You should be open up through the front part of the body. You'd be better off up here if you've got to rotate, because what we're trying to do is really open up through the front part of the body. Again, if we're sitting a lot, then we start to kind of fold in on ourselves. So we're just getting more open. One more breath. And exhale, come forward. And then let's switch sides. Or if you were in that first variation, take a couple of breaths and go back into it. So we're going to inhale the left arm back, reach back for the heel or the prop, and right arm extends overhead. Again, this is not about forced effort. This is not about working hard. This is about more firmly rooting in your body. This is quieting all the noise and just getting more in touch with you, the observer, that you that is in that quiet vacuum. And slowly release. We're going to move our props out of the way, come back into puppy pose one more time. So again, it's like going back into child's pose, but the camera freezes up halfway through and we're just stuck in midair. And inhale up. Okay, we're going to go back into down dog one more time. Inhale the hips back. Maybe this right leg floats up if it feels okay. And then we exhale the right leg all the way through for pigeon. Find your variation of pigeon. It shouldn't hurt. It shouldn't make you have shallow breath. And then exhale, fold down. We're going to stay here for 4 breaths. One more big breath. And then inhale, rise up. Lift up through the chest. Lengthen the spine. Roll the shoulders back and down. And then curl the back toes under and very slowly shift back into down dog. One big breath here. On your next inhale, maybe the left leg floats up. And exhale, step all the way through. Find your comfortable variation of a pigeon and fold down for 4 breaths. One more full breath. On your next inhale, rise up on both hands. Lift the chest, roll the shoulders back and down. Deep breath. And one last time, we curl the right toes under, send the left leg back for down dog. We're going to spend a couple breaths in down dog before we go down to the floor. Release any final tension in your neck. And slowly lower down to tabletop and come to a seated position. Okay, so we're going to come back to the seated pose where we kind of evaluated ourselves at the beginning. So soles of the feet together, sit up nice and tall. See if you can gently press the knees towards the floor. And then close your eyes, observe any differences in your body. Notice if you sit a little taller or if you feel a little bit more ease in this pose. Two more breaths here. Good. Now we're going to come just to an easy cross-legged position. And we're going to put our hands on the floor behind us. And then we're just going to really start to try and walk the hands together on the floor with the goal of getting our shoulders as pulled back and down as we can. We're really trying to open up the chest here. And then from there, you might even try and bend the elbows a little bit to deepen that chest stretch. Only if it feels good. Good, and slowly release. We're going to come all the way to a lying position. If you've got a block, this may help you feel a little bit more comfortable in our next pose. We're going to go into waterfall. So all you really do have to do to accomplish this is just lay flat on your back and put your legs up in the air. And this is just a really good opportunity to give our bodies a break. You know, our hearts are constantly working hard to defy gravity and pull the blood back up through our legs. So it gives our hearts a break. It helps stimulate our lymphatic system. So you can stay right here. You can go to a wall and put your legs up the wall, or you can take a block and lift your hips and bring your hips on the block, or any kind of, like a couple of pillows, anything that's going to get your hips in a position where, first of all, you've got a little bit more of an inversion, but also it becomes almost effortless. If you can find just that right position, your legs just kind of hang out and you don't really have to do anything to keep them there. So while you're in this pose, I encourage you to close your eyes and just really recognize how you're nourishing your body right now. You're doing something that can really help your body detoxify and regenerate. So this is a really good time to send a little bit of extra loving, healing energy out to every last inch of your body. There's a physical immune system, but I really believe there's a psychological immune system as well. It's the thoughts we think, what we expose ourselves to, just what we choose to believe. Couple more breaths here. One more big breath in and out. And then start to pull your knees in towards your body. If you have anything under your hips, maybe you kind of rock your knees towards your chest, just enough for you to pull that prop out and come all the way down on your back. Arms come out in a T, extend the right leg long, pull the left knee in, and drop that left knee over towards the right side of the body. Maybe you turn and look at the left hand. And then as you unwind, pull your left knee in towards your chest and extend the left leg long, right knee bends. Start to drop that right knee over towards the left. Maybe turn to look at the right hand. Pull the right knee into the chest to slowly unwind. Right hand catches the right foot, left hand catches the left foot. Happy baby. Slowly release. Extend your legs out long on the floor. Arms drop down on the floor to your sides. Close your eyes and make your way into your final relaxation. Hopefully by now you've been fully sucked out of any kind of noise in your life and your mind. If not, here's a time to revisit that visualization, to get yourself so completely in your body and in this moment that nothing else exists. without any movement. Observe your breath and your body. Observe the ease in which your breath moves in and out of you. The weight of your body pressing into the earth. And the gentle support of the earth pressing back. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break, and all things can be mended. Not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go, love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. I invite you to place your hands over heart center. Maybe to visualize that bright, glowing, pink energy that's love, pure love, originating from your heart center, beaming out into your body, out of your room, out of your house, into your neighborhood, into your country, and spreading all across the world. Your light matters. It all begins with it originating in you, for you. This time you take to love and nurture yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. Begin to make small movements in any way that feels right. And then tune into your body's intuition and see what it needs in these final moments. Perhaps to stretch long, or to curl up in a ball on your side. And then as you feel ready, you can begin to rise to a seated position. And let's take 3 deep breaths to close our practice. Open your throat, open your heart with each breath. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale. The light in me sees and honors the light in all of you. Namaste.